Why, hello there. A Knife's Tale here, bringing you a knife review. I do hope this video finds you well. This one has been coming for a little while, and today we're looking at the Hawk Designs Talon. Before we get into that, I would like to say consider liking and subscribing if you want to see more, if you want to support the channel, if you just want to be nice and help me out. That I greatly appreciate it. So let's jump into specs before we talk about this custom knife. Which, this is a custom knife and very expensive. It's not going to be for everybody. Let's just be honest and straight up with y'all. You've got... not quite... it's about 3 3/8 inches of blade length. 3 1/4 cutting edge. Just under 8 inches. It's not that huge. It's... let's see the tail here. 4 5/8-ish on the handle. Yeah, it's not a huge knife. You'll see it in just a minute when we do our comparisons to the Civivi Elementum and the Civivi Conspirator. Let's get them lined up. Yeah, it's a bit shorter than the Conspirator. Not actually as small as the blade length would make you think. It does have a little extra handle there. Blade length-wise, I'd normally call this sort of approaching medium, but it really does feel comparable. So I'm going to call it a full-size knife equal to the Conspirator, but it is a tiny bit smaller. It is also pretty thick. It's got a pretty big slab of carbon fiber as its inlay, so it is reasonably thick on top of the titanium frame. Our last comparison being grip. Get out of here with these AA batteries, so you know what you're getting. You have basically 2 AA batteries completely of grip length. I don't think most people are going to have any issues with the actual grip, getting a hold of this knife and finding somewhere to hold it that is reasonably comfortable. Weight. There's no internal milling. And the titanium's pretty thick. My guess is this is going to come around 4.5 ounces. It's actually a little bit lighter than I thought. It's surprisingly good for not having... oh, there is a lot of internal milling. Oh, that was... whoa, this is completely skeletonized internal milling. That explains that. You can see straight through to the carbon fiber under there. That explains that. For some reason, I looked into this area and didn't see any internal milling. I'm like, there's no way that it's that light. That makes sense. It has hardware check. It does have a proprietary tool. If I remember where the box for this thing was, I might be able to show it to you. But it does come with the tool. And down here, it looks to be a T... I'm going to say that's a T6. That's got to be a T6, right? Yeah. But a deep one. Like, wow, that's a grippy T6. I don't think you're going to have trouble with that. And that... there may be another screw up in here covered over by the carbon fiber. I'm not taking it apart. Not looking for that. Not needing that headache with this whole setup here. And considering it's a custom knife and it's like perfectly set up the way it is, dialed in, I don't really want to mess with it. $554 thousandths on the handle stock. So yeah, it's reasonably thick. Blade stock is 155 thousandths, also reasonably thick. What is not reasonably thick, however, is this behind the edge. It is 8 thousandths, 9 thousandths. 8 to 9 thousandths, it looked like 10 there, but I think I slipped up a little bit. 8 to 9 thousandths behind the edge. It is a hollow ground knife, and it is ridiculously thin and very sharp. This thing is a cutter. 100%. It performs. Very utilitarian blade shape. Very good. And in fact, we can actually start talking about that because that was the last of our specs. So, hold on one second. So, we're back. It is M390 blade steel. I just had a little bit of a distraction there. And I would imagine that this is probably pretty well heat-treated M390, considering this is a custom, USA made, completely... Yeah. So you're probably going to get some good experience out of this thing with the blade steel. As you can see, the entire thing, the frame, everything is kind of done with this heavy stone wash, acid wash kind of look. Distressed, which... I'd like one with... Maybe the bevel, the cutting bevel, to be like a satin or something like that. That might be nice, but it definitely gives it a sort of monochrome look to it. The pops would be where the inlays come in, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But modified sheep's foot blade, good tip access, pretty central actually, pretty almost center, just a little lower than the pivot. You've got very good execution on this wedge, and finish of this, it's very nicely knocked down. It's excellent there. The plunge grind could be better. Plunge grind, like, stops there. Something you have a tiny bit of life, but it could definitely be better. However, you can cut in a sharpening tool. There's no reason you can't do that. The actual stop pin, I don't know where the stop pin is on this thing. I'm gonna say it's right here. You can actually kind of see it there. That's it right there. Moving right there. It's attached to the blade. So nice there. Nice touch there. The flipper tab, as you can see, has insane leverage because it's not only up and above the pivot, it's way out here. And yeah, it flicks. There is 100% no doubt about that. It pops open. You can actually use this as a thumb stud. It's not very easy because it's pretty small. You have to really kind of go down in there. Actually, it's not that hard. Can I reverse flick it is the question. I've never tried it. Yes. Yes, you can. You can totally reverse flick this thing. I didn't even notice that. Like, I've never tried it. I've just always been happy to do this because it's very satisfying. The leverage and everything. And it's quite a unique system. We'll talk about the toggle detent system in here in a minute. But it's quite snappy, quite smooth. It's really well done. Titanium frame, some jimping in some different places that actually... The jimping's not the best. I admit that. It would probably be fine with gloves. It's a little bit sharp, and it doesn't provide that much traction. They could definitely have done better jimping, but it looks good. It's not bad. It's not really hurting anything. It's fine. Big old titanium backspacer with a big old lanyard loop, which honestly I could just kind of do without, but I imagine it's there for a reason. Actually, it might not be. You could probably just get rid of that entire thing. Wonder if that's an option. Take that all out. Would slim down the knife a little bit, but I don't think it would actually affect it too much based on what I'm touching in hand. I hadn't thought about that either, really. I was just happy with this knife. I'm just not thinking about all the things I want to change. It is not quite perfectly centered. But it needs a slight little bit of tightening. That's probably what it is. It was perfectly centered when I got it. It was sitting right there. It's slightly off, but I think I need to tighten it down. I'll have to find the the tool, I guess. Yeah, there's a tiniest hint of play, but I think that's just... It didn't start out that way, so I'm not too worried. Let's see. Ergos. Ergos are interesting because you have this big, what would normally, I guess, be something like a sharpening tool or a finger tool, protruding from the handle. This is the flipper, and it just sticks out there. And you'd think that that would be kind of weird angles. It's not. It works. This is a great grip point. This works wonderfully. The handle works pretty wonderfully. It's surprisingly ergonomic despite this huge clip. You definitely feel the clip. You're definitely up on the clip. So it is definitely something that if you're bothered by clips, sorry to say, this might just not be for you. Because it's big, it gets thin back there. There's no avoiding it. You're there. It's in your hand. Super large hands are gonna have to interact with it. My hand, I can kind of get up on it a little bit, but I think my hands are, well, stubby fingers aside, I think my hands are relatively normal in terms of other dimensions. So, yeah. You sort of fall right into here on the clip, at least I do, and you feel it, but it's not bad. What you do trade off for feeling the clip is you've got, the grippy clip. It's spring-loaded. It just pinch points and goes right into your pocket, pretty much no matter what you do. It works wonderfully. It does. A little bit jumping on there. You also have the carbon fiber overlay, inlay, whatever you want to call it. There are several variants of this. I wouldn't be surprised if, you can do whatever they want in the future, but it's got the Hawk Knife logo cut into it on both sides. I went with the plain Black Dunes carbon fiber because I think that one showed off the logo that's cut into it the best. Like, there was one that was like a heavy white Arctic Storm carbon fiber, a Mars Valley, and a blue one. And I thought the colors could kind of maybe lose the design a little bit if you had splotches of color in the carbon fiber right where you milled the logo. I don't know. I just thought it would be cooler to have it plain, showcase that off. Now, the detent system, the clackety-clacks. This is a toggle detent system, and it's a thing where you pull it back, and there's basically a cup holding a ball joint, and it snaps side to side. I'll link the Hulk, Grant and Gavin, I think they were, the Hulk Instagram down below, where you can find this in much more detail. But it basically snaps side to side. And that's what's the clacking here. It's pushing into it and then clocks it to another side. It's a very unique detent system. Everything the Hawk Designs does is, let's be honest, pretty unique. They have the deadlock with no blade play and different little mechanisms, crazy little shortcuts and different things like that. This is no exception. This is an interesting design that gives you really good flipping action. The one weird thing about it is, when you hit this, it drops. But if you release it too soon, there's like resistance because the toggle is out of position. So it's got to be overcome that with some force. So it snaps in. If you let it just drop and close all the way from your hand, no problem whatsoever. But if you release it too early, you do end up in a position where the blade will not stop or stick into the handle or lock in, really. Well, engage in. So that is something you arguably have to be cautious about. When I first got it, I wasn't quite aware of how it would feel. And I know I went like this once, and it didn't close on me. And it caught me off guard at first. You get used to it pretty quickly. But that can definitely happen. Other than that, this is a very unique custom piece. It is very expensive. It is... What were these? First run? $900? More than that, maybe? Yeah. It's an expensive, fully American-made price. Small maker. Big enough that it's not like the one-man custom show, but they're very small. Small batch production, small batch custom made. I guess I don't even think this would necessarily be considered a mid-tech, to be honest with you. So, like, I don't know if there's almost any production except for just, like, maybe some hardware and some minor stuff. So, yeah. This is not for everybody. It's not something most people would probably even consider wanting in the first place, considering the price point and what it is. But it's cool. Everything Hawk does is cool. It's well made, it feels good, it's executed, it's interesting. You've got Talon 2025, G&G Hawk, M390, and then you've got the patent number for the toggle lock, or toggle detent system. Oh, I'm just clip my my backdrop again. I wonder. You can pop it out from there. It takes quite a bit of trying, like it's not easy to do, but you can pop it out from there. Okay. Just anecdotal, nothing important there. This is an interesting knife. It cuts great, it performs great. It's surprisingly light. Yeah, the Talon's just cool. Let's be honest. Hawk knives are cool. So, I'm going to try and figure out where that stupid tool is. I don't know. I'll find it eventually. I have done some unboxings recently, and everything is a mess around here, so that could take a while. I'm not going to bore you with that. I will say that's all for me. I hope you liked the look at this very interesting knife, and I'd like to see where they go with this sort of detent system and stuff in the future. Yeah, you see, it doesn't, like, once it gets here, you actually have to apply some force to get it in. It will, you know, do it itself if you have enough momentum, but it's an interesting little mechanism on a interesting knife. See you later. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And that's all from me.